welcome to the Smart Publishing Impact Series. I'm Renée Lautermilch, Chief Editor at Smart Publishing, and this is the podcast where we explore all things writing, publishing, and the impact of storytelling. In each episode, I'll share insights and strategies to help you navigate the book journey, whether you're writing, publishing, or already an author. Plus, you'll hear from inspiring authors who are using their book to change lives. And if you're passionate about storytelling and ready to make an impact, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smart Publishing Impact Series. I'm Renée Lautermilch, your host and Chief Editor for Smart Publishing, and I am back this week with episode 41 because last week, it was a really busy week, and Wednesday was really busy, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to do a replay. So we replayed an oldie and a goodie, one that's definitely a solid listen. So if you haven't listened to it, go back. It's the replay episode. I believe it was episode 14 of last week. This episode, though, I got to be honest, I was sitting here struggling this morning because 41 episodes deep into this podcast, and it's like I can start to feel like I've talked about everything, even some things multiple times. And I just felt like that today. I was like, okay, what have nothing was really standing out to me on my mind. What have I talked about? So I did something funny. I I went back to my own book, my second book here, The 1 Hour Author, for inspiration. And it kind of just is proof that books are the gift that just keep on giving. They're such a great way to package information. This book came out at the beginning of the year, and it is still helping me to reel myself back in center. And so today's episode title is 5 Tips for Productive Writing, and it is inspired by Chapter 6 of The 1 Hour Author, A Simple Guide to Writing and Publishing on a Busy Schedule. That book is available on Amazon in Kindle, hardcover, paperback, and you can also get it on Audible as well. It's on all the formats, just like my first book, Leading Through Love, is on all those formats as well. So I've got 5 tips here for writing your book. These are a little bit more geared towards people who choose to write instead of record for audio transcription, but I would say that there is still some crossover there. When I wrote this, I had actual writing in mind, but there's still crossover to those who are sitting down, throwing on Riverside or throwing on Zoom, or even a voice memo on their phone to record their chapter. So we'll go through these one by one. I'll share my thoughts, and I'll keep this episode nice, concise, and short today, so that we can just get straight to the point. But before I roll in, I do just want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to Kathy Males, the author of The Detox Dwelling, a practical guide to non-toxic cleaning. It's on my shelf behind me. I'm sitting here trying to read the subtitle. Non-toxic cleaning for healthier homes and greener living. She had her book release yesterday and achieved the coveted bestseller sweep, which means that she achieved #1 bestseller in all 3 of her books categories. So a huge congratulations to Kathy. We're really excited for her. We're excited for the people who are going to be positively impacted by her book. Her book had a very personal and positive impact on me and my family after I was working with her on the manuscript. So much of what I was reading made me really pushed me to make some serious decisions and what I keep in my home and how I clean my home. I got a different shower curtain for our one shower that has a curtain throughout the plastic one after I learned about plastic off gassing. I now make all of our cleaning solutions from natural ingredients, and they actually clean better than the super chemically store bought ones, and they're cheaper to make, which is such a win-win-win scenario. Plus, if I'm sitting there getting it on my hand, I'm not sweating bullets and thinking like, ooh, what kind of toxicity is like seeping into me right now? Because it's things like white vinegar, witch hazel, essential oils, water. It's very natural ingredients. So absolutely, absolutely love that book. I actually have multiple pages dog-eared because I go back to it over and over again when I'm like, wait, how do I make this recipe for this? Because I ran out of this cleaning solution. So go to Amazon, check it out. It's on Kindle, paperback, and hardcover, and it's really a beautifully designed book as well. It's a real pretty book. Okay, promise sorry to keep this episode short. So now we're going to jump into those tips for productive writing. A lot of people dread the writing process. Even those who are recording get stage fright when they are getting ready to record. And it can become a mental block that keeps people from moving forward. And so, over the past, some odd years working with writers, through my own personal experience as a writer, these tips came out of both me coaching others and coaching myself. So, the tip number one is to minimize distractions. That's huge. If I was trying to write right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a picture. I have my phone sitting right here with the face up, the notifications are turned on. I have three monitors, so I have three screens here. Um, that already in and of itself is a recipe for failure. I've got my door closed, which is good. So, what I recommend is that don't even have your phone near you where it's within reaching distance, because a lot of y'all are so addicted to your phone, you don't even think about how you're grabbing to look at it until you've already done it. So don't even have it within reach. Have it turned on silent. Let anybody else in the house with you know that from X time to X time, you are writing, you're working on your book, or you're recording. Same thing goes for that. It would not be great to be recording and have somebody, boom, walk in the room and completely throw you off your train of thought. So make sure that your support system that's around you understands that and respects that boundary. And then if you have multiple screens like me, close out all your stuff. Don't have tabs open and everything. Have blank screens so that the only thing that you have to look at if you're recording is your notes, and let's just say it's Zoom, or if you're writing, it's just your Google Doc or your Word document that's open, and any kind of notes. Specifically, I'm going to say it, chapter map, to keep you on track. So minimizing distractions is absolutely huge. Number two, this is one that cannot be used for those of you who are audio recording your book, but for those of you who are writing, use it, use it, use it, use it. I have actually gotten people to use my specific trick for number two, which has been really funny to me, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, number two is flow state music. So, put on a pair of noise canceling headphones, queue up, whatever app it is that you use to play music, and find music that has no lyrics, because that's going to conflict with any type of words that you're writing. It has to be instrumental music, so instrumental music only, and things that can get you in a flow state. So some people do well with like classical music. Other people, including my 71-year-old dad, does really well with electronic music. My dad specifically listens to trance. He's never written a book, but he's an engineer, so when he's working on long calculations, things in AutoCAD, he's listening to trance. I love that. Usually it's something that has just a consistent flow to it. I will tell you, what I think the number one flow state music out there is, and I've had other authors use this, which is funny because they had no experience with this before I told them, and then they tried it. They're like, oh my gosh, you're right. I don't know what is up with this music. It's really effective. Minecraft. The Minecraft soundtrack, I will tell you, is unbelievable for flow state. If you know nothing about Minecraft, Minecraft is a video game. They actually use it a lot in schools for, teaching teamwork, creative thinking, because you can build things with it. Um, but because it's a building based game, I swear whoever composed the music for it, um, they specifically had that person compose the most flow state scientific type of soundtrack for it possible. Because if you ever play that game and you're like in building mode, watch out. You will look up and 8 hours will have passed and you will not have noticed it. And you will have built this entire masterpiece in there. So yeah, it's funny because I've told people about that and they've like, they're not gamers, they don't have kids who are gamers, and they go and they use it and they're like, oh my gosh, that really works. So if you don't know what to try, Minecraft soundtrack, you can find, there's a bunch of different long play ones without ads. Definitely without ads. If you're listening to music, do not listen to anything that has ads on YouTube. Now, tip 3, use your chapter map. Use your chapter map. Writer's block only happens when you don't plan. Writer's block is nothing other than a lack of planning, or you just need to get out of your head and like just do what your chapter map tells you to do. So if you have not already created a detailed chapter map that goes through a general outline of what you're going to talk about in each chapter, and you don't have that side by side as you are recording audio or writing text, you need to, because every time you get stuck, that's your North Star. It's your GPS. It's there to keep you from getting lost. So you're going to refer back to it, have it pull you back to center, and then keep going. So the chapter map is absolutely crucial, not just for productive writing, but writing that isn't going to start in one place and end up in a wholly, completely a different place than you intended it to. Which, if you've ever read a book like that, it's not fun to read a book like that. You're just sitting there wondering, like this, what is this person talking about? It's like their stream of consciousness. Not a good look. So tip number 4, do not self edit as you write. So obviously this does not apply to people who are audio recording, but this applies to people who are either OCD about their writing, or people who are um, actually suffering from imposter syndrome. And so they're using self editing as a stalling tactic, whether it's conscious or unconscious. But do not self edit as you write. Keep moving down the page. You keep moving forward. Even if it feels like what you have written is crap, you keep moving forward. You do not go back over it. Once you are done with your chapter, then you get one more pass to go from the start and go through and make slight edits and adjustments as you want. So you do not ever edit as you write. And the reason I tell you you only get one pass is because I am keeping you from the trap, the cyclical trap of self-perfectionism, where I will tell you, if you get into more than one pass on your own chapter, you are going to get stuck into the self-editing cycle. And again, it's a stalling technique. And you are not your own editor. You should never be your own editor. You should hire a professional editor who is professionally trained in all of the publishing and writing style standards and grammar and all of those things, and also who has an outside perspective to you and is not too close to the trees and can spot things that you would not have spotted because you're too close to it. So do not self edit. I will virtually come in and slap that hand. I will slap that hand off the keyboard if you do that. All right, and tip number 5, just get it on the page and keep moving forward. So that is essentially a natural transition from tip 4 about saying, not to self edit as you write. Um, but this is getting a little bit more to those days where you just don't feel like it, or you just feel uninspired, or it's just not flowing as well as it does other days. I have had so many days like that, and I will tell you the only reason I have multiple published books is because I follow this to a T. When there are days where, just like today, actually, for example, I did not feel like doing this podcast. I didn't have any ideas. I didn't feel inspired. Yet here I am, right? So you have to have an attitude that you're just going to get it done and it's going to be good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. And I will tell you, every single time that myself or one of the authors who I coach has had one of those days and they do it anyways and they get it on the page, when they go back and when I've gone back on my own stuff, the realization is that it's actually better than we thought it was in the moment. It's just sort of this sort of mental attitude that clouds our judgment, from that lack of feeling of inspiration or just that feeling of not being in the mood to do it, that makes us feel like the writing or even the recording is worse than it is. But if you have a good editor, all you need to get them is the meat to work with. A good editor will make it shine, even if you felt like that day you weren't writing or recording as well as you did other days. But writing a book is a long term project. And process that only moves forward if you move forward. And if you wait around for days when you feel like doing something, you're never going to accomplish anything. So that is, tip number 5. Maybe, if I ordered these, that would even be I would even have ordered that as number 1, because that's the most that's the number 1 most important thing to productive writing is you can't be a productive writer if you never get it on the page. So that again, is today's episode. That is, from start to finish, my 5 tips for productive writing. And just to summarize, sitting here going back on, yep, there it is. Tip 1 was minimize distractions. Tip 2, flow state music. If you don't know what to choose, Minecraft soundtrack every time. Tip 3, use your chapter map. If you haven't done one already, go back and do one. I even have a free resource that I can send you if you reach out to me for that. Tip 4, do not self-edit as you write. And tip 5, just get it on the page and keep moving forward. So that's everything that I have for you guys today. I thank you for joining me as usual. If you've not already connected with me, I am on Facebook. I am Renée Lautermilch on Facebook. I'm the only one in the world. So when you type Renee, Renee, Lautermilch, Lautermilch, I am the only one who will show up. So add me on there. If you have any questions or you want a copy of that chapter map resource I mentioned, just slide my DMs and reach out to me. You can also get a hold of me on smartpublishingservices.com. Love it when people reach out either way. And you can also find me, Renee, at smartpublishingservices.com. That is my email address. I'd love to hear from you. If you have 60 seconds, I would also be so appreciative and honored if you would leave a quick rating and review of this podcast. It helps to get it out in front of more people who can benefit from this content. So again, thanks for joining me today. This was fun. And as I always say, keep writing your story because the world needs your voice.